The first episode begins with Michio Kaga, who gets deeply engrossed in a seemingly budget-friendly virtual reality game. While exploring, he stumbles upon a formidable sword called Durandal and a resolute ring. However, the tranquility shatters when the village he's in falls under attack by a gang of bandits. Swiftly, Michio takes up Durandal, courageously fending off the assailants. His bravery earns him their gear as a reward, bestowed by Samara, the village chief. But when Michio tries to log out of the game, he's met with a startling realization: the world around him is authentic, and he's trapped inside until he completes the game. As Michio grapples with this newfound truth, a villager tries to pilfer the loot he obtained from the bandits, resulting in the thief being marked as a slave on his intelligence card. To sell his captured loot and collect the bandits' bounties, and to sell the thief, Michio travels to the town of Vale. There, he successfully collects the bounty and decides to visit Alan, a slave trader. Alan expresses interest in purchasing the thief and later reveals that a new labyrinth has been discovered nearby. Intrigued by the idea of exploring the labyrinth, Alan suggests that Michio buy a slave for assistance. He introduces Michio to a slave named Roxanne, a beast woman with combat skills, and emphasizes her status as a guaranteed virgin if Michio wishes to use her as a sex slave. Although Michio feels guilty for even considering it, he's enticed by the prospect of having a willing partner and is persuaded by Alan's smooth sales pitch. As a result, Michio agrees to return in 5 days with the hefty sum of nearly 450,000 gold needed to purchase Roxanne. In the village where his extraordinary journey began, an older Michio returns, now accompanied by 5 female slaves. While there, he meets a young boy named Mio and bestows upon him a powerful sword known as the Scimitar of Rage. When questioned by Roxanne about this gesture, Michio simply mentions that he knew Mio's father, keeping his reasons to himself. In the present, Michio has managed to sell some of his loot, but he's still short of the additional 70,000 gold he needs. Desperate to earn money quickly, he decides to venture into the labyrinth in search of valuable items. Worried that his prized sword, Durandal, might attract thieves, he hides it within his character menu and purchases a basic scimitar for his expedition. Once inside the labyrinth, Michio starts experimenting with the skills he has acquired. After defeating various monsters, he realizes that using too much of his magic capacity leads to feelings of depression and pessimism. To avoid these side effects, Michio decides to hold off on casting spells until he can increase his magic capacity. During his first day in the labyrinth, he manages to collect only a small amount of loot, prompting him to seek out more dangerous monsters in hopes of securing more valuable treasures. However, he accidentally stumbles into a monster nest and finds himself on the brink of death. He narrowly survives, thanks to the health and magic absorption enchantments of Durandal. Following the defeat of the nest, Michio returns to Vale and discovers that the comrades of the bandits he previously vanquished are lurking in the vicinity. Michio resolves to hunt them down and claim the bounty on their heads. With the belief that the bandits are likely trying to keep a low profile, Michio explores the slums of the city. He soon discovers that parts of the city transform into a red light district after sunset. Despite the temptations around him, Michio manages to locate a bandit and discreetly follows him to their headquarters. It becomes evident that there are multiple separate bandit gangs operating in the area, prompting Michio to observe them closely to learn their behaviors and habits. His landlord informs him that tensions among the bandits have escalated since the demise of an influential boss who had controlled a significant territory. This power vacuum has led to infighting among the bandits, resulting in murder and chaos. Michio discovers that the bandits he had previously eliminated were members of a losing gang, driven out of Vale by rival groups. Aware that he has less than 24 hours to amass the funds needed to purchase Roxanne, Michio decides to take action. In a daring move, he infiltrates the bandit headquarters and silently eliminates several bandits while they sleep. However, when the remaining bandits are alerted to his presence, Michio is forced to make a swift escape by teleporting himself into the labyrinth. Gathering the heads of the slain bandits, Michio claims the bounty on their lives. With the necessary funds at his disposal, he finally purchases Roxanne from Alan. Michio is pleasantly surprised when Roxanne offers an apology for doubting that he would be able to buy her. With the slave contract in place, Roxanne expresses her happiness at having an owner, while Michio can finally relax, having achieved his goal of acquiring her. With the newfound funds, Michio decides to enhance their accommodations by moving to a larger room. Unfortunately, he overlooks a crucial detail. The room now offers a double bed instead of the separate single beds he initially planned for. This unexpected change visibly unsettles Roxanne, causing Michio to realize his error. He worries that the idea of sharing a bed may have made her uncomfortable or even driven her away. Nevertheless, Michio reassures her, emphasizing that his primary intention is for her to accompany him into the labyrinth as a capable fighter. After procuring all the necessary adventuring gear for Roxanne, which includes even underwear, they return to their room. To his surprise, Roxanne exhibits proficiency in repairing and maintaining equipment. Yet, as night approaches, their mutual nervousness increases. Michio grapples with his inability to resist the temptation of looking at and touching Roxanne's body. Overwhelmed by guilt, he finds himself torn between desire and moral restraint. Nevertheless, they manage to assist each other in washing their backs, tending to Roxanne's tail, and shampooing each other's hair. As the night progresses, they find themselves in bed together. Michio is determined to ensure that Roxanne enjoys herself just as much as he does. They share an intimate encounter. The following morning, Roxanne surprises Michio with a kiss, but he suspects it might have been because he had asked her to do so the previous night. Regardless, Michio decides that it's time to embark on their first journey into the labyrinth, the challenges of the previous night leaving a sense of uncertainty in the air. Michio inquires about enhancing his equipment with skills, to which Roxanne informs him that he needs rare monster skill crystals, which can be bonded to gear by dwarven blacksmiths. However, dwarves are often untrustworthy. Thus, Michio decides to seek out a reliable dwarf to join their party and perform this task. As they continue their exploration of the labyrinth, Michio becomes acquainted with the concept of magic crystals. These crystals have the ability to absorb the magic of defeated monsters and can be exchanged for significant amounts of currency. Yet, filling them with magic is a lengthy endeavor, often stretching over several months. Michio obtains 2 vacant crystals and uncovers their remarkable potential, capable of storing magic from as many as 1 million monsters. Nonetheless, it's common practice for individuals to sell them when they've gathered the magical essence of approximately 100,000 monsters. Michio also grasps the living nature of labyrinths, realizing that they grow upwards. Therefore, the first floor is essentially the lowest level, with the most powerful monsters residing on the upper floors. Understanding the necessity for spells that can target multiple enemies, Michio contemplates acquiring such skills. Both he and Roxanne also seek healing spells. In a bold move, they achieve the title of monk by defeating a monster using only their bare hands. Their intimate routine continues as they share a bath and engage in a loving exchange, fostering a deeper connection between them. When the next day dawns, they proceed to confront the first floor boss monster, prepared to face a formidable adversary and make significant progress in their labyrinth exploration. After successfully defeating the tree-type boss on the first floor of the labyrinth, Roxanne picks up a medicinal leaf dropped by the boss, which grants her the title of herbalist. Their victory also earns them access to the second floor of the labyrinth. However, Michio has a specific goal in mind, obtaining the herbalist title for himself as well. To achieve this, they decide to return to the first floor and face the boss once more. With the herbalist title in hand, Michio gains the ability to use the medicinal leaf they obtained to craft health potions, a valuable asset for their future explorations. Returning to the city, Michio becomes aware of a bandit who appears to be surveilling Alan's trading house. Concerned for Alan's safety, Michio warns him about the suspicious individual. Alan reveals that he had recently sold a thief who Michio had previously traded to him. However, Alan is worried that the buyer of the thief might be a part of a dangerous gang. He suspects that the thief was instructed to unlock the door to the trading house once everyone was asleep to allow the bandits to enter. Given Roxanne's positive experiences with Alan's other servants, Michio decides to offer his service as a bodyguard to protect the trading house from potential threats. They spend the evening together before embarking on their mission. Late at night, Roxanne and Michio, along with Alan's combat slaves, set up an ambush to confront the bandits who intend to infiltrate the trading house. Their plan is set in motion as they prepare to confront this new threat. After executing their ambush, Michio spots the former thief among the bandits and attempts to subdue him with experimental magic. However, when he employs the equivalent exchange spell, it drastically reduces the thief's HP to 0, leading to an unexpected explosion. Alan speculates that the thief may have carried a self-destruct orb that triggered this sudden detonation. In recognition of Michio's efforts in safeguarding his shop, Alan rewards him for his protective role. With his magic dangerously depleted, Michio decides to enter the labyrinth to harvest magic from monsters. During this venture, he discovers that using the equivalent exchange spell has unlocked the prestigious mage title, offering promising prospects for his magical abilities. He intends to purchase a staff to enhance his newfound skills in the near future. During their labyrinth exploration, Michio and Roxanne stumble upon the boss room on the second floor, confronting and swiftly defeating a formidable giant caterpillar. Progressing further, they reach the third floor and encounter a breed of monsters known as kobolds. Upon returning to the surface, Michio devises a strategy for more cost-effective travel by hiring a mage to teleport him to Imperial City and then to Korator. This plan aims to secure free teleportation for himself and Roxanne in the future, reducing their financial burden. Their relaxation continues as they spend the evening together, with Michio growing determined to purchase a house to provide Roxanne with a better living arrangement than taverns offer. Subsequently, they teleport to Korator, where they learn about labyrinth entry fees for adventurers. However, Roxanne cleverly points out a method for sneaking inside without incurring these charges, offering a practical solution to their financial concerns. In Korator, Michio procures a wand to bolster his magical capabilities. Simultaneously, he commences the search for a suitable residence, ultimately choosing to settle in a smaller rural village located on the outskirts of Korator. Utilizing Roxanne's guidance and expertise, they successfully locate and secure a spacious house at a reasonable distance from the labyrinth. The property features modern amenities, including a flushing toilet, and they manage to secure a discounted rent due to the neglected garden and a peculiar stone room constructed without prior authorization by the previous tenant. After settling into their new residence, Michio and Roxanne set out to explore the Veil Labyrinth. Armed with his recently obtained wand, Michio takes on a powerful monster and emerges victorious. Although their new home is devoid of furniture at the start, they choose to spend their final night in the room where their journey together began. Roxanne takes the lead in setting up their new house while Michio embarks on a visit to Korator's Labyrinth. As he hasn't entered this labyrinth previously, he's required to pay the entry fee. However, once inside, he promptly teleports back home. Michio expresses disappointment upon discovering that Korator's Labyrinth is noticeably more crowded with knights, adventurers, and explorers compared to Veil's Labyrinth. This increased competition for monsters and loot presents a formidable challenge. Upon the delivery of their furniture, Michio and Roxanne joyfully spend their first night together in their newly furnished home, marking the beginning of this exciting chapter in their lives. Michio uncovers a surprising fact about the Korator Labyrinth. Despite its overcrowding, no one has ever managed to conquer the entire labyrinth, with the highest floor reached being the 91st. This revelation leaves him disheartened, especially when he finds the first boss monster to be disappointingly weak. Disheartened, Michio and Roxanne promptly teleport back home. To lift his spirits, they decide to embark on the task of revitalizing their neglected garden. While shopping for a clothes washing tub, Michio has a sudden idea. They can use an extra large tub as an indoor bath in the stone room. He envisions sharing this bath with Roxanne, a thought that fills him with anticipation. As they continue their exploration of the labyrinth, they gradually unlock higher floors, which can be teleported to without the need to start from the bottom. However, their journey becomes increasingly perilous as the boss monsters become more challenging, one of which possesses a unique magic skill capable of injuring them. Michio realizes that he has inadvertently grown complacent, putting both himself and Roxanne at risk. Their new bathtub is delivered, and Michio takes the opportunity to introduce Roxanne to the pleasure of bathing. They share an intimate moment, with Michio even inventing soap to make the experience more enjoyable. As Roxanne peacefully sleeps, Michio grapples with feelings of guilt for allowing her to get injured during the encounter with the last boss monster. He becomes determined to recruit another warrior into their party as soon as possible to enhance their chances of success. Michio embarks on a quest to hunt monster rabbits, capitalizing on clothing stores' demand for their skins. As they delve deeper into the labyrinth, they face the 7th floor boss, a formidable rapid rabbit, whose loot includes high-quality meat. Roxanne skillfully prepares a delectable dinner from this unique find, providing a moment of triumph. Their decision to challenge the Rapid Rabbit once more leads to a fateful encounter with a seasoned adventurer who had dedicated years preparing to face this formidable foe. Tragically, the Rapid Rabbit prevails, claiming the adventurer's life. This grim reality leaves Michio shaken, forcing him to confront the perilous nature of labyrinth exploration and the ever-present specter of death. Roxanne's comforting presence during the night offers solace and support, helping Michio come to terms with his emotional turmoil and resolve to overcome his despair. Determined to move forward, they opt to sell the valuable rabbit skins, which Michio uses to purchase silk camisoles for Roxanne, a gesture of care and consideration. On the labyrinth's treacherous 7th floor, Michio and Roxanne confront a ferocious bull monster. The battle takes a harrowing turn when the bull monster shatters Michio's finger. He manages to heal the injury through magic, but this experience underscores the labyrinth's escalating danger and the potential for severe harm. During a shared bath, Michio introduces Roxanne to the intimate act of oral sex. The following day, Roxanne makes a significant discovery. A monster has dropped a rare skill stone as loot. These valuable stones are typically employed by dwarven blacksmiths to bestow magical skills onto equipment, offering new prospects for enhancing their abilities in labyrinth expeditions. Michio, contemplating his mortality, drafts a last will and testament with a unique provision, the promise of Roxanne's freedom upon his eventual demise. Roxanne, displaying unwavering loyalty and devotion to Michio, vehemently rejects this offer. She fears that Michio's death would signify her own failure, and expresses a desire to join him in death. Their exchange underscores the profound connection between them. Michio's quest for a dwarf slave with the highly sought-after Master Smith job leads him to visit Alan's establishment. His expectations are deflated when he learns that there is just one dwarf slave for sale, a 16-year-old named Sherry. To Michio's discontent, Sherry does not possess the Master Smith job or any combat capabilities. Sherry herself is puzzled by this, as she has reached Explorer level 10, the typical prerequisite for unlocking the Master Smith job, yet the job hasn't manifested for her. Despite her apparent limitations, Sherry earnestly requests that Michio purchase her. Roxanne observes this transaction and seemingly approves, though Michio remains uncertain if her reaction carries a hint of jealousy towards Sherry. This introduces complexity to their evolving relationship. Michio devises a strategic plan for Sherry's skill development in the hopes of unlocking the elusive Master Smith job. He initiates this by equipping Sherry with a hammer as her initial weapon. Sherry is astounded by Michio's proficiency in magic, particularly his use of the warp spell. She is pleasantly surprised to discover Michio's enlightened perspective on slaves, treating them as equals rather than mere property. Sherry opts for a wooden club as her weapon, a choice that intrigues Michio due to his ability to see skill slots, and a unique skill that seemingly no one else possesses. The dinner table almost becomes a place of tension when Michio inadvertently begins to serve Sherry first, earning a disapproving look from Roxanne, prompting him to quickly correct his mistake. A surprising revelation shakes Michio as he learns that among the various job options in this world, the only one exclusive to humans is rather unconventional, the sex maniac job, in stark contrast to the dwarf's specialized Master Smith job. Things take a more intimate turn when, during their bath, Roxanne imparts an unusual practice to Sherry, using their breasts to clean Michio's body. This quirky bonding experience further emphasizes the atypical nature of their relationships. At bedtime, Michio, having learned from his previous blunders, navigates the complexities of his unusual relationships skillfully. He ensures that both Sherry and Roxanne are content as he shares intimate moments with them. In a bold step, Michio, Roxanne, and Sherry engage in an intimate encounter. Michio is considerate and ensures Sherry's comfort as he guides her through her first intimate experience, with Roxanne actively participating in a threesome. Morning brings a surprising twist as Michio unlocks the sex maniac job, leading to significant improvements in his stamina, intelligence, and magical abilities. Eager to make the most of this newfound job, Michio boldly proclaims his intention to form a harem. The story advances with a time skip, revealing that Michio has added 3 more individuals to his unique household: Miria, a catkin; Vesta, a dragonkin; and Rutina, an elf.